Well, the day is here. I've got my new DeWALT miter saw. This thing is a beast. So this is DeWALT's new FlexVolt 12-inch double bevel sliding miter saw, and it is awesome. So to give you an idea of where I come from on the miter saw side, I have had three pretty decent miter saws. I started with the DeWALT corded version. That thing was awesome. I loved it. Man, I used it for years, but I wanted to save some space in the shop, so I upgraded to the Bosch Axial Glide version, and that thing is incredible, and it's got a cool technology. It slides against the wall. I loved it. But, oh, and I've got a video review if you want to check that out, but it was missing one thing that the DeWALT does really well, and that's the shadow cut line. It is incredible to give you real precise measurement when you go to cut. So I sold that, and then we went and moved shops. I needed to kind of downsize a little bit for that season of life. And in the back here, I actually bought, and you may have seen my review video on that as well, I bought the smaller DeWALT battery-powered miter saw, and that thing is incredible. It's been a workhorse, a beast, but it's lacking in the depth of cut. And I'm doing some bigger projects. I've got some wood here I've got to cut, and I might be redoing our deck. And so I decided to go back to my roots, get the big boy again, and this time go with the FlexVolt system, which I'm real excited to check out. But yeah, all that to say, I just want to unbox it, kind of give you my general impressions. I know there's a lot of specs and detailed videos out there you can check out, but just from an unboxing standpoint and pulling it out, using it to cut some wood in these projects, I just want to kind of give you some thoughts on how it is, and I'm feeling very hopeful. So let's dive in on this episode of Field Treasure Designs. All right, let's rock and roll unboxing this thing. So yeah, first off, I grabbed the battery out, and it's heavy. This thing is awesome. It's a 9 amp hour battery. Took it out of its bag. It's got a cool protective case over the contacts there. It's stuck with a sticker, so I had to get that off. But man, this thing feels awesome. And it needs a charge, obviously. And so I take it over to my battery charging station, which I've got a video and plans for that. If you want to check that out, you can click the link that'll pop up here. But the DCB115 that I just showed you, it's my older charger. It works fine. It's just going to take a little bit longer, so that's cool. And then got that going, and then we're unboxing the rest. So this is a cool little addition, I think. It's a vacuum hose adapter. So that's kind of thoughtful on DeWALT's part in case your hose doesn't fit. So cool. Next thing is a bar, stabilizer bar for the back of the saw. We'll put that on later. Next up is the manual and stock, dust collector bag. So the manual, I'm like, why is it all rolled up? That's kind of a bummer. They could have easily packaged that flat. That's kind of annoying to me. And then, yeah, the bag, which I'll just leave it in its bag because I don't need it. Next, I'm pulling out the vertical material clamp. It feels real solid, like it'll work really well to hold material down. And then next, there are extension rails on this saw. This is unlike anything I've had before that are extra on the left and right. And so these feel pretty solid. The plastic's nice and firm. And I'm thinking it's going to be a great addition to have just a little wider workspace for material to sit. So this is the other side, and we'll install those here in a minute. So real quick, the corner got really dinged up. So right away, I was a little bit nervous, thinking, oh man. But after I took off the top styrofoam, the saw is totally fine. So nothing to worry about there. Oh, and real quick, here's the battery charger. It's a 6 amp. It's awesome, and it looks good. My big concern was, can it mount to my battery charging station? And it does have the mounting pegs on the back. Awesome. And I did a quick little mock-up. Will it fit in the spot? Yes, we are good. So I'll put that on later. Back to the saw, take off the plastic, and here she is. Man, it is looking awesome. So I pull it out, and it is so heavy. It's marked as 70 pounds. So yeah, she's pretty heavy. It is not your mobile saw. Obviously, if you have a stand, it'll be fine. But yeah, I kind of grunted over onto the workbench, which, by the way, my Polk workbench is so stable, it doesn't even move. But yeah, here it is, sliding it over. It's so clean. I love the darker gray. And here's just kind of a overview. There's the handle, the blade guard, the locking for the miters, the deck, the fence. Really solid quality. There's the sliding rails and the locking for that, the battery compartment. Yeah. Really solid quality, just like my other one, man. No surprise here. The other side, we got the sliding rail, another locking mechanism for it, which is cool, the bevel lock. Yeah, it feels really high quality. And then obviously really important, will my dust collector vacuum hose fit? And yes, we're in business. Love it. So next up, we can unlock it and raise it up now, get the feeling of it. I'm used to the locking knob being on the right side, so the left is different. No big deal at all. I like the big yellow knob there. It's easy to grab, so that's cool. And then it locks in place if you, depending on the setting, it'll lock back in place when you put it back down. So something I noticed here was the blade guard is real rattly. It's just, it feels real loose. It's super loud. I don't know if that's supposed to be that way. It just doesn't feel tight and smooth. Look at my other one here, how smooth it is. That's a little weird. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed in the other one here. However, there's an awesome upgrade here in the dust chute area here. This is a way higher quality rubber with a little flap there for the split to allow it to go against material when you're cutting down in. As opposed to my old saw, it was a way thinner material, not as good. So that was a huge upgrade here. Next, I'm installing the stabilizer bar. Super easy, just slide it behind and then tighten it with the hex key that's included. And it works, nice addition. A quick look at the fence. As usual, solid metal, all good, it slides really easily. While the fence is off, I'm able to attach the two side extensions and they've got an included bolt in there, and using the included key, you just tighten it on and all good. All right, checking out the back. So this little lever arm, it's kind of cool. It's a new addition. There's also the twist knob on the top here that you can lock the sliders in any position. So that's cool. But I like that lever because, as you can see the diagram in yellow, up allows you a certain level cut, but then down is an extra level for transport. The miter sliding is super nice. Both left and right. Love that. I take off that lever lock again, and I'm able to then slide all the way back, all the way forward. It feels a little rough. I don't know if that's because it's new, but it doesn't glide as smooth as I thought it would. Again, it might just be it's a contractor saw, and that's how it goes. In the back is the classic DeWALT bevel lock by turning the knob. So you untwist it to release it, and then it's got a nice big locking knob just like the miter release. Here's the dial for the measurements. Very easy to read. Can go both ways. Love that. I definitely missed that on my other saw. Here's the other side. It comes with those little wings that allow you to stop the bevel at certain measurements. So that's pretty cool. Also, out of the box, this thing was 90 degrees both on the miter and the bevel. So I was expecting to have to dial it in and adjust it, but man, it was perfectly square on all sides. That's pretty cool. Another pretty standard feature is the depth lock over here by the miter lock. You can adjust that wing nut, loosen it up, and then when you lower that little bar down, it stops it at a certain depth. So that's kind of handy. It's time to use this bad boy, so let's grab the battery off the charger. How are we doing? We're ready to rock and roll. It's crazy using a battery this big. I have never used one this big, man. All right, so I grabbed some stock, just some plywood, kicked on my dust vac, and let's make some cuts. But before I do that, here's that cool cut line, the shadow cut line. There's the button to activate it if you're going to use it before a cut, which I usually do. There's the line that it shows. Dude, this is by far my favorite feature. I just think it's better than lasers. Yeah, there it is. Super precise. You can know exactly where you're going to make your cut. It's awesome. All right, time for a first cut. One thing I noticed right away is the power that comes out. Watch the kickback. The saw kicks up when I turn it on, so you have to be ready for that power. Yeah, that felt pretty good, man. Just having such a wider blade is so nice. Here's another angle real quick. So after the first 2 cuts with just some plywood, I wanted to give you an idea of the dust. You know, it definitely, because of the short stock there, it definitely leaves quite a bit of dust, but not a big deal. It's a contractor saw. A lot of dust went up through that rubber chute into my dust vac. So I think this is pretty standard if you ask me. So next, I want to cut the boards for my project I'm working on. These guys are 12 and just under a 1/2 inch long. I've got these little 22 angled bevels on the edge, and man, you can see it's wide stock almost to the end, and it turns out that it is almost to the millimeter that the saw that I just got is able to cut these in one pass. So that is pretty lucky if you ask me, but it does demonstrate just how wide of a cut this saw can do. So man, it is a game changer in terms of that aspect. Yeah, look at this, right on the tip of that angle. Look at that. I mean, I'm shocked. I got so lucky, but yeah, I'm just blown away by the depth of cut on this saw. I also had to use the bevel here to make some 45-degree cuts for my board. So I lock it up, ready to go. I did a quick test with my angle finder to make sure it was 45 degrees, and we're good to go. All right, so I just finished a bunch of cuts to wrap these 2 cabinets. A lot of cuts. Here's what the saw looks like. I didn't show you, but the battery didn't even lose a bar. So awesome. One last thing I discovered was there's a little holder for the included Allen wrench on the back of the miter slider. I'm not sure if I'll use it because it's kind of wiggly, but it's there. All right, so one project done, and after that, I think this guy is a keeper. I mean, he's awesome. I totally expected it to be great since my corded one was awesome. My small one has been awesome. DeWALT has not disappointed me, I don't think, ever with tools. Maybe a few preference things. The only thing that bugs me about this saw is the blade guard. For some reason, it just feels real rickety. It doesn't feel tightened. Maybe I can tighten it a little bit, make it smooth, but for a comparison, check this out. I mean, virtually no sound on that guard, very little play. So this is just, it's strange to me, right? I don't know. Maybe it's just, I could tighten it and you know, it'll be fine. But when the saw's running and the vacuum's on, you don't really hear it, but just something I noticed. But everything else is super clean. The extra surface, these extra platforms here, everything glides well, moves around. The glide mechanism, the sliding mechanism feels rough. I don't know if that's supposed to feel rough. It could be a little smoother. Even for example here, maybe I've had him longer, you know, he's smoothed out, but all in all, super awesome. I mean, the fact that I could do my long cuts all the way to the end here, 12.5 inches of cut capacity there, that was epic. It did leave a ton of sawdust. Some people have said that they're impressed by how little sawdust is left. Maybe that's because they were using large stock and I had wide, low plywood, and maybe that's what did it. But it's a saw. I wasn't expecting really much else. Obviously, my smaller saw seems like it keeps the dust in there, but I'm not doing big material, right? So all in all, while it was super expensive, I'm stoked to have it. I think it'll be great. It's gonna be hopefully here for a long time. But anyways, I hope that was helpful. Hit me a comment if you have more questions about it. I'm not trying to do specs analysis. You can find all that online. I just thought I would share with one dude in the shop. Thanks. Hey, don't forget, check out the show notes below for more information. Hit up my blog, all that good stuff, or check out some other videos of mine. And hey, thanks again for watching. I hope it was helpful. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.